Hello ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be learning about box and whisker plots. Primarily we're going to ask ourselves, what are they, what do they show, and how do I create one? What I'd like you to do is look at all of these pictures here and see what they have in common. You'll notice that each of these are showing pictures or a model or a whole being split into 4 equal parts. We know these as quarters, but a new word that we're going to be learning today is quartiles. So we're used to seeing the word quarters, but we're going to be using the word quartiles today. And that basically means splitting data up into 4 even sections. Now, sometimes it's not, you can't split something up quite as evenly as you would hope. For example, down here if you look at the muffins, we'll see that if we had 8 muffins and 4 people, each person, in order to get an equal amount, would get 2. However, what if we had 10 muffins? It doesn't work out so evenly. This is the same thing with numbers. Sometimes you have to split numbers up in order to make sure that they're in equal groupings. I'm going to make a little bit of room here. Each person then gets an additional half muffin. So therefore, 10 divided by 4 would be 2.5. 10 divided by 4 would be 2.5. There's some terms that we're learning when we're discussing box and whisker plots, and I'd like you to try your best right now. Take the next couple minutes, pause our video, and try to see if you can figure out which number goes with which term. Okay, let's see how you did. I like to always start with the terms that I'm more familiar with. For example, this word median. I've seen that for so many years now. I have a pretty good understanding of what that is. So when I look down, I know that it's going to be the middle number of a set of data, that it splits it in half, but only when that data is put in order from least to greatest or greatest to least. So let's see. The number that splits the upper quartile, it does use that word split, but let me keep checking just to make sure. The number that separates all the numbers into 2 even halves? That sounds really familiar. The greatest number in the data? No, I definitely know that's not median. The least number in the data? No. The number that splits the lower quartile numbers into 2 halves? I feel that the best description is the number that separates all the numbers into 2 even halves. Now remember, you need to make sure those numbers are in order from least to greatest or greatest to least when you do separate them. Alright, next, I like to look at these words lower extreme and upper extreme. To me, I think about the smallest number and the biggest number. Let's see if that works out. The greatest number in the data set, or in the data. Sure enough, I feel that's upper extreme. This one says the least number in the data. I think that's the best representation. Alright, now see that lower quartile and upper quartile, they don't seem so scary anymore because I only have 2 definitions I need to pair them with. This says the number that splits the upper quartile numbers into 2 halves, and this one is the number that splits the lower quartile numbers. Well, this says lower, and the definition says lower. So sure enough, those are exactly the definitions that you should have come up with. If you didn't, no big deal. Just try to see why it is this would be considered upper quartile and why this would be lower quartile. Alright, so there are 5 points on a box and whisker plot. Each stands for a particular piece of data. The 5 vocabulary words below represent that data. Using what you know about box and whisker plots, write the appropriate vocabulary word by its data point on the box and whisker plot. Spacing has been provided for you. So go ahead and pause the video and try your best. Alright, let's see how you did. Well, I'm going to start with those terms that I feel most familiar with. If this is all the data, we have 3, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 15, 28, 28, 39, 42. I know the very middle number will be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 numbers. So it's going to be the 6th number. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just to double check, I should have 5 numbers on the left and 5 on the right. Sure enough, I do. I didn't have to split any numbers there because there was only one number in the very middle. Now, so I know that my median is 11. So I'm going to take this word median and I'm going to put it right here by 11. All right, I'm going to go with the term that I feel most comfortable with, which would be lower extreme. I know that means the smallest number, or the number 3 in the data set. Same thing, but this time upper extreme. I know that's the number that's in the highest, or it's the greatest number in the data set. Well, I know lower quartile would be the lower quarter of the data, and upper quartile would be the upper quarter. Now, if you're wondering how in the world I got that, you'll see that lower quartile is 3 and the upper quartile is 42. Well, I take this data here and I need to split it in half, or find the number that's in the middle. And here you'll see that the number is 6. Here you'll see that the number is 28. That's why 6 is the lower quartile and 28 is the upper quartile. Because if we were to split this data into 4 even sections, just like we did with the model earlier, it would look like that. Alright, one last thing. Go ahead and pause the video and see if you can determine which one of these numbers over here on the side would be the median, the lower quartile, the upper quartile, the lower, and the upper extreme. Go ahead and pause. Alright, well, let's see. We know the lowest number is 8. We know the highest number is 14. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of information, so I know 11 is the median. Just happens to be the same number. When I look at my upper quartile, I see that 13 is in the middle. And when I look at my lower quartile, I see that 9 is in the middle. So, on a box and or on a number line, I would put my first dot. I'm going to do it above the line so that you can see it. On 8, my next on 9, the next on 11, then 13, then 14. I want to make a box around the middle 50% of the data. And then I have whiskers going out to the other 2 pieces of data. I hope this video has helped you a little bit in understanding box and whisker plots. If you need to review, please feel free to go back and check your answers and read over it whenever you need to. Thank you.